Report of the Public Improvement Commission, Thursday, July 23rd, 2015. Poll hearing, item number 1, on a petition by Eversource to install one new utility pole and relocate one existing utility pole on North Harvard Street, Brighton, located on its southeasterly side, northeast of Western Avenue. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Sheila Gillis here on behalf of NSTAR Electric, doing business as Eversource. We're here to get a grant of location to install 2 poles and to remove 1 pole. The pole relocation has been requested by the customer, Harvard University, due to a new road being installed.
Sheila,
Yes,
is North Harvard Street, is it an underground district or do you have a lot of overhead?
it's an overhead street.
So it's an overhead street?
Yes.
On a separate note, when were these pictures taken? The only reason I ask is the street's very dirty.
It's been over a month ago, I believe.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Hopefully it's cleaner than it looks in the picture. Good. Yeah. Any members of the audience have any questions or comments? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the petition of Eversource to install one new utility pole and relocate one existing utility pole on North Harvard Street, Brighton, located on the southerly side of Western Avenue.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gills. Public hearing continued, item number 1, on a petition by SCD 1350 Boylston Street LLC for the making of specific repairs within the following public ways in Boston proper, consisting of curb realignment, sidewalk reconstruction, as well as new and relocated pedestrian ramps, specialty pavement, street lights, street trees, street furniture, electrical conduit, drainage infrastructure, irrigation infrastructure, and driveway curb cuts. New business, May 14, 2015. Public hearing, June 11, 2015. Public hearing continued June 25, 2015, and July 9, 2015. Boylston Street, on its southerly side, generally east of Kilmarnock Street. Kilmarnock Street, on its easterly side, generally south of Boylston Street, as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Specific Repairs Plan 1350 Boylston Street, Kilmarnock Street, Boston proper, 3 sheets dated April 29, 2015. Morning.
Morning. Thank you, Commissioner. Mark McGowan with Scanscoat. We believe we're at a resolution, and Steve Martirano from Bowler is just going to walk through where we are with the curb line in front of our property, and turn it over to Steve.
Good morning, Steve Martirano from Bowler Engineering. What I have on the board here is what we discussed at the previous hearing in front of you. I just want to take 1 minute to just walk through the progression of the plans. I know we had some new iteration that was just handed out recently, and just wanted to tell you where we started, where we went, and how we landed on the version you have in front of you. So this was the initial iteration, which essentially had a drop-off zone right in front of the entrance to 1350 Boylston. We heard that was not a desired spot for a drop-off, and not a desire to have individual drop-off for this particular building or use. And so we went through a couple of iterations and ended up on the version that is the color rendering. This one had a bit of a sharp drop-off, still had a version of a drop-off, just not a bump into the curb. It just had the bump out at the intersection, and then a bump in that extended the majority of the property, or the length of the property. working with BTD and HDR and other city departments, including accessibilities, we had a meeting, and the city departments had subsequent meetings, and came up with a scheme which is a little bit different than what we've seen in the past, but along the same lines of the HDR schematic design plans that have been floating around that 25% version. So what this plan shows is the future of Boylston Street. It shows the proposed striping, the introduction of some bicycle accommodations, and then it does have drop-off and parking accommodations further down the street in front of the health center and so on. So through those iterations, we landed on this version that we've got in a black and white version here on the screen. So what we've done is taken that HDR concept plan that we just saw, kept the pocket park at the corner. So we left, that area remains unchanged. So we still have the pocket park, we still have improved pedestrian accommodations, and then this curb line does match up with the future proposed layout of Boylston Street, so it accommodates that bicycle lane, and it does have, it has our curb line coming in and matching up with where the health center would like to have their drop-off in the future. So we think we've captured all the comments at this point. It's been a series of meetings and conversations with the city and all the various departments involved, and as well as internal city meetings. And we feel we've captured everything at this point, but we're obviously open to hearing more comments or questions at this time.
Eddie? Thank you for the numerous attempts to get this done. I appreciate it. I know the walk was very successful, and the redesign looks great. Any members of the audience have any questions or comments? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the petition by SCD 1350 Boylston Street LLC for the making of specific repairs within the following public ways in Boston proper, consisting of curb realignment, sidewalk reconstruction, as well as new and relocated pedestrian ramps, especially pavement, streetlights, street trees, street furniture, electrical conduit, drainage, infrastructure, irrigation, infrastructure, and driveway curb cuts, as read into the record by the chair and as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Specific Repairs Plan, 1350 Boylston Street, Culmina Street, Boston proper, free sheets dated April 29, 2015.
Second?
All in favor? So moved. Thank you.
Very good, thank you.
Second public hearing item continued on a petition by Bartlett Place Land Incorporated for the making of specific repairs within the following public ways in Roxbury, consisting of curb realignment, sidewalk and roadway reconstruction, as well as new and relocated pedestrian ramps, street lights, street trees, drainage infrastructure, and driveway curb cuts. New business, May 28, 2015. Public hearing, June 11, 2015. Public hearing continued, July 9, 2015. Washington Street on its northwesterly side between Bartlett Street and Guild Street. Bartlett Street on its southwesterly side, generally between Washington Street and Bonnell Terrace. Guild Street on its northeasterly side between Washington Street and Thornton Street, as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Specific Repair Plan, Washington, Guild, and Bartlett Streets, Roxbury, 4 sheets dated May 20, 2015. Morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. David Linhart with Golson Stores, also here with Mark Mattel from the proponent, and Imad Zareen, engineer. And when we brought our petition 2 weeks ago for specific repairs, we received several helpful comments. Since that time, the work that's been completed, Imad will speak to that.
Good morning. My name again is Imad Zareen from Develop Zareen. As David mentioned, we had several comments the last hearing, which subsequently we went back and updated the plan. So I'll go through those changes that happened since last time. One of the items was the neck down on Washington Street and Bartlett. We were able to actually eliminate that neck down, still provide the pedestrian crossing the same way we had it before. So the plows can, as they're going down Washington, they could move right into the curb. On Guild Street side, we created a much smoother transition as we approach Guild. Guild Street has a steep slope to it, so we couldn't actually eliminate that neck down because of the slope that goes up Guild. There'll be a difference in grade between Washington and Guild. There's also a question on the warrant analysis for the crosswalk, which we've done. Our traffic engineer has done a warrant analysis, and it actually came back with we do meet the warrant analysis for the crosswalk on between St. James and our new roadway into the site. We're happy to present that.
So it meets the warrants for signalization?
Not for signalization, but for the crosswalk.
You were looking for the warrant analysis for signalization.
That was done when we did the Article 80, and it did not meet the warrant.
Could you forward that?
We can. Yeah.
Who from BTD's engineering looked at that?
I'm not sure, but that was back a few years back that was done.
Yeah,
But we
why
can
don't
forward.
you forward it up to us?
We'll forward that information.
I don't think we have any mid-block crossings across a main arterial on Washington Street like this in the area without being signalized, so
Okay.
be interested in seeing your analysis.
Okay. We'll forward that.
Yep, thanks.
And maybe if I'm permitted to speak on that thought pattern, I hope the developer, you will be mindful of the fact that if the situations have changed since you all did the warrant analysis to current conditions, that you will be supportive of whatever additional work is needed to ensure the safety of those who you are planning to bring to your property. Do we have that support on your side?
Speaking of the development side, yes, we do.
Thank you so much.
Mainly, a school. So it's gonna be a school crossing.
So what I could send over is our traffic analysis from our Article 80 and also the traffic analysis from the school, who also conducted a separate one.
So as long as there's that commitment where you will do what you need to do to ensure a safe environment for those that are around the neighborhood coming to this area will be complimentary.
Just one quick question on that end. During the Article 80, several years ago, was the school program into the DA design at that time? No. So that may make a difference.
So that's why the numbers might reflect something different.
And the third item was the travel path on Bartlett Street behind the tree pits. The original plan did not have enough dimensions, and since then we've added all the dimensions that shows that we have a minimum of 5 feet behind the tree pits. So we've worked with Catherine on that, and I think we're okay with that. Those are the major changes that happened since the last meeting.
Yeah, I mean, just for the record again, I think we brought it out at the first meeting, that all retaining walls have been set back so that they're a part of the property, not part of the city.
Yep. You can note on the plan that they will, private property and will be maintained by the abutter.
Correct, all right, thank you.
Again, refresh my memory. How many streetlight poles are being affected, moved, relocated?
6, I believe,
Okay.
on Washington.
And Glenn Cooper's group is on board?
Yeah,
Okay.
we've had approval
Great.
for that.
Any members of the audience have any questions or comments? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the petition of Ballard Place Land, Inc. for the making of specific repairs within Washington Street, Ballard Street, Guild Street. All is read into the record by the chair and as shown on plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division Specific Repair Plan for Washington Street, Guild Street, Ballard Street, Roxbury, 4 sheets, dated May 20th, 2015.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Amy, we have an LMI for that, right?
Yeah, we will, yeah.
Public hearing item number 1 on a petition by Portside
Don't, it's all standard.
56 LLC for the making of specific repairs within the following public ways in East Boston, consisting of curb realignment, roadway and sidewalk reconstruction, as well as new, relocated, and removed pedestrian ramps, hydrants, street furniture, landscaping, and driveway curb cuts. New business, June 25th, 2015. Marginal Street between South Bremen and Orleans Street. South Bremen Street, generally at Marginal Street. Orleans Street, generally at Marginal Street, as shown on a set of plans entitled City of Boston Public Works Department, Engineering Division, Specific Repair Plan, Marginal Street, East Boston, 2 sheets dated June 24th, 2015. Good morning.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jamie Fay with Fort Point Associates, working with Roseland Property Company on this project since 2000. With me today, I have Joe Shea, who's the head of the Boston Development Office for Roseland Property Company, Bob Crucial with Hancock Survey, civil engineer on the project, as well as Andrew Grace, the senior development manager from Massport. Before I turn it over to Bob to kind of present the plan, just highlight a few issues that we've been working through. I think you understand this particular public right-of-way here is a bit odd in the sense that Marginal Street is not continuous between Orleans and South Bremen Street, and I think it goes back probably to the historic, I guess it was Grand Junction rail line that went through there, and for some reason that public way was discontinued. There's a big piece of the right-of-way that's not actually used for streets, and that's part of the greenway. And so that area is effectively, even though it's part of the public way, is effectively managed and maintained as part of the greenway by the Parks Department. So we spent a lot of time working with the Parks Department to try to get the design right here, and they had a lot of back and forth with them, and they had a lot of suggestions, and we've tried to accommodate all those suggestions that would provide limited vehicle access for maintenance purposes into the greenway, because this is how they access the greenway. There are not very many points that you can get a vehicle in, and they do this both from the South Bremen side as well as the Orleans side. So we've accommodated their request for slope curbs to allow vehicle access in, as well as the replacement of bollards so that there's just not general vehicle access into the greenway. They want to control it a little bit, but also removing bollards in other locations. We've removed some of the asphalt and replaced that with grass to expand the grass area within the greenway section, which they felt was appropriate given its park nature. And then they've asked us as well to remove an existing, what seems to be a remnant, actually, of streetcar overhead wiring system, just a pole right in the middle of the walkway that goes between goes along between South Bremen and Orleans. Doesn't seem to be connected to anything. It's just a historical remnant of, at some point in the past, there was a streetcar system in that area, so we've agreed to remove that too. So we've been working closely with them and with the Disabilities Commission to make sure we got all of our grades working, all the crosswalks working. It's part of a larger master plan of how public access should work in this area. I think there were some questions about access coming down the greenway through to the waterfront, both down the extension of South Bremen Street, as well as connections in the future to Piers Park and the phase 2 of Piers Park, and access down through the site to Pier 1. So we think we've accommodated all the design suggestions to the best of our ability, and happy to present the details of the plan to you if you like, or just answer questions.
We had a meeting with Massport last week, and basically Massport is going to propose a memorandum of agreement between the City of Boston and them. Basically, what's happening is that the buildings as presented as testimony in the last hearing was privately owned, and Mass General Law, Chapter 143 requires 143 that the privately owned buildings be permitted through Boston. So as long as we go forth with that, with the understanding that the city and Massport are going to come up with some type of agreement, not only with the building department, but also with the fire department. The fire department basically should be reviewing the plans. I'm pretty well all set. We're waiting for that material.
just from the previous new business hearing, the TAPA agreement is in fact in place. Just want to publicly acknowledge that. The construction banner plan is yet to be received as of yet. So for this phase of construction, we're expecting that the contractor, whoever has been selected for that, will be formulating a construction banner plan. We submit it to the office for approval.
Yeah, in fact, the TAP agreement, we fully implemented, we pre-funded all of the improvements that you asked for, so happy.
And the construction banner plan?
Yeah, we have one for the whole site, and it's been
So
approved
just
and
break
signed.
out this portion. I want it from the contractor.
And we have a signed construction management plan.
You have a signed construction management plan from the last phase.
No, for the entire project, actually.
I'm not talking about the TAPA, I'm talking
No,
about.
I'm happy to give you a copy if you want a copy of it.
Yep.
It covers the entire.
Do we need an LMI for this because of the street furniture?
Yeah, I think it's in the park.
It says street furniture within
Yeah.
the petition.
Yeah,
John, do we need an LMI because there's street furniture within
it
the
might be
petition?
bollards.
So who's going to paint in the borders? Okay, so you will structure the LMI to capture those things.
I'm sorry, I kind of missed that. So I understand that the Parks Department is maintaining the Greenway area today and will continue to do so.
So,
I think that those things are falling within what we consider the park, even though it's part of a right-of-way, it looks and feels like a park.
so as long as there's something in file, so that in years to come, if a situation should arise, that all parties will know who will be responsible for taking corrective action.
Yep.
Who's the contractor? So same as the last phase. Is that okay? We'll discuss this offline. This
Any-
is 2006, things have changed.
Any members of the audience have any questions or comments? Okay, contingent on, upon Mr. Hessett's review of the CMP and Mr. Moshe's concern about the memorandum of agreement with Massport, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the petition of Portside 56 LLC for the making of specific repairs within Marginal Street, South Brim Street, and Orleans Street in East Boston. All is read into the record by the chair and is shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division Specific Repair Plan for Marginal Street, East Boston, 2 sheets dated June 24, 2015.
Second. All in favor?
So moved. Thank you, Mr. Fay. First item of new business, Fanpare Boulevard, Liberty Drive, Marina Park Drive, Waterside Avenue, South Boston, widening, relocation, and extension, layout approval on a set of joint petitions by Fanpare Development LLC, 10 Fanpare Boulevard LLC, and 22 Liberty Drive LLC. Morning.
Good morning. Brian All on behalf of DLA Piper, here for the Fallon Company.
Good morning, John Schmidt with Niche Engineering, here on behalf of the Fallon Company. We're here today to
Excuse me,
seek...
John, could you give me a second? I'm sorry, sir, you are representing who?
The Fanpare Development LLC and the other petitioners.
So the
who are
10 Fanpare and the 22 Liberty Drive, are you representing all of them?
correct.
Thanks.
Thank you. We're here today on behalf of seeking a public hearing for the layout of 4 private ways within the Fanpare development. This building parcel D will be a 14-story condominium project. Parcel C is currently in construction and be completed within the next year. The private ways is a continuation of Fanpare Boulevard, a continuation of Liberty Drive, a continuation of Marina Park Drive, and the layout of Waterside Avenue. These are all private ways. They will be owned, maintained by the Fallon Company or its divisions, We're continuing the street treatments, pavement treatments, curb treatments that's been developed throughout the project, so we're continuing that pattern through the site. The street lighting will be private, granite curb, asphalt roadways, essentially, as I said, continuing what was been built in the past. We've sent out the notifications to the 17 different agencies and utilities. Everyone has indicated a letter of support or support of this project, other than PTD, but I know Ed will speak up today if he has any concerns. The TAPA was approved in 2008. In regards to the construction management plan, I don't know if Turner has submitted that yet or not, but they will be doing the work here as they've done throughout the development.
Yeah, I talked to Jack Dawson, that's forthcoming for that,
Okay.
it's in process.
So if I'm, any questions from the commission?
As always. Who will be maintaining the roads for snow removal?
The developer or the condominium trust here will be maintaining all of these roadways.
Everything inside Northern, okay.
One of the, we just had, actually, the commissioner, our ETD, we just had a meeting yesterday relative to some of the street issues in the Seaport District. One of the things that came up about the specific area was the street identification, meaning that the street is a private way. Right now, they're posted as a city right-of-way. There's a lot of confusion. You have installed meters on these streets and actually are towing off the meters, which we don't do. So I think we need to get some clear identity that this is a private way, these streets, and that the Fallon companies are in charge of the street. So it's not confused by the general public that are utilizing these roadways.
Okay. I will share that concern with the Fallon Company, and the construction documents that we'll be issuing soon for this site will be clear as well as their private ways.
Right.
Amy, all of these streets have been reviewed by street lighting to ensure that the right amount of lighting is there.
Yep.
It is lit off the street, not off the buildings.
Yep.
The roadway width, does it change dramatically even though we are giving them approval for the layout? Are they all 50s, 40s, or are they odd numbers? John?
The roadway, the traveled
Right-of-ways.
ways themselves,
Yeah.
The
minimally,
right of way. I mean, the layout.
Full right away.
the full right-of-way, that is not, to be honest with you, it's not clearly defined at this point.
So that definition is needed
Yeah.
because you are asking the commission to lay out a private street. There has been issues in the past where we need to be consistent with
Yep.
the type of street that gets laid out with the approval of this commission.
Yes, we will provide that at the public hearing.
You have to.
Procedural question, Amy. How long does it take to get these changes into the SAM mapping?
Get what changes?
Changes for street layouts, changes in new streets and whatever, when we as commission
Yep.
approve something, how long does it take to get into the SAM mapping?
Well, so the way that we work is that once it's approved here as a street layout, we notify all SAM and all city agencies. We usually do it in kind of batches because they're obviously not constructed yet, so we want it to lag a little bit behind. But we don't want to wait until actual construction because we'll never get back to it. So we kind of group them and then we send them out to all public safety and the people who coordinate SAM.
Our administrator, street numbering administrator, sometimes has problems because it's not in the mapping.
Right, yeah, there's a definite lag there, and we can also add Jim to our notifications if that helps him.
That'd be great.
Right.
Thank you.
Will 2 weeks be enough time?
Yes.
Okay, we'll see you on August 6th for a public hearing.
Thank you very
Brian.
much.
Thank you, John. Second item of new business, East First Street, Summer Street, Farragut Road, South Boston, widening and relocations, specific repairs on a set of joint petitions by the Massachusetts Port Authority and Exelon New Boston LLC. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. My name is Jerry Friedman with HDR Engineering.
I am Kevin McQueenie, representing Massport.
Let's go through the overview of the project. The project is Massport's dedicated freight corridor and buffer open space in South Boston. Context is shown here, Summer Street Bridge over the Reserve Channel. Massport's intending to build a new private driveway, essentially, which will go behind parallel to East First Street and access the Conley Container Terminal. The goal of the project is a public improvement project. We're removing currently 900 truck trips a day from East First Street. All container truck traffic in the future will be off of East First Street on the new freight corridor. Massport employees will continue to use a reduced gate at Farragut Road. The other part of the project, which impacts the city, is that Massport's constructing a 5-acre open space called the Thomas J. Butler buffer on land owned by Massport. And those are the two impacts we have with the city streets. Phase 1 of the project was completed on Massport property last year. Phase 2 of the project is ongoing on Massport property now, and we'll actually do the work on the city streets. SPS New England is the contractor. And there'll be a third phase to build a guardhouse on Massport property. I'd like to talk about Summer Street first.
Excuse me, Jerry. When is the connection to the Summer Street Bridge? When will that take place, roughly?
Summer Street Bridge.
2 years time.
2 years. Yeah, the entire project has about a 2-year duration.
And the work associated with that, has it gone through the Public Improvement Commission?
For the intersection?
Yes.
No, that's part of the subdivision.
Also, you're going to do
Yeah,
it
here
here.
for both. Let me start with Summer Street. As you can see, we're building a new 4-way intersection opposite the existing Federal Express driveway. At the request of the city, that will be a fully signalized intersection. It may not need to be signal operation at first due to volumes at present, but that can be changed over time. We're introducing a new southbound left turn lane for trucks into the dedicated freight corridor, and that's necessitated widening Summer Street onto property owned by Massport and a very tiny sliver of property owned by Exelon, which is why Exelon is getting a co-petition as well. Again, here's Summer Street as it comes off the Reserve Channel, continuing down. So Massport intends to build the intersection, make the utility connections. Massport's also building restoring a pedestrian connection to a harbor walk overlook that was actually severed a number of years ago when the Summer Street Bridge was rebuilt. We'll be reconnecting that as pedestrian access. The intention is for the widening relocation to go to the back of the new sidewalk. The city would take over the new sidewalk and maintain it, and maintain the crosswalks. The widening relocation line encompasses the crosswalks across the new intersection. Massport would maintain the pedestrian connection to the harbor overlook. The materials are standard city materials, curb, concrete sidewalk, standard city details. Part of the project also involves relocating, there's a approach, guardrail, and barrier wall on the Summer Street Bridge that will also be. Any questions about Summer Street? Sure.
Jerry, did you provide us pavement marking plans for Summer Street?
Yeah, so,
Did you say that there's going to be a left turn pocket?
yes. Yeah, left turn, signal left turn, just for southbound traffic into the
Yeah.
freight corridor. Yeah.
Truck traffic into the area,
Yeah.
and you've done the necessary traffic engineering analysis to
Yeah.
make sure that there's enough storage room, because
Yeah.
now we are going to have a high speed, I mean, you know the speed of the traffic that is coming off the bridge
Yeah.
on a right-hand turn.
Yeah.
We will have this truck that is waiting to make a left-hand turn from the fastest lane. So I'm going to assume you've done the
Yeah.
necessary analysis.
Yep, analysis has been done, that the projections were done for a pretty conservative, the terminal will be expanding and the truck traffic will be increasing over 20 years. We took a pretty conservative look at what the current, what the future throughput of trucks is going to be. That was in the ENF that was filed, expanded ENF. And then BTD approved the traffic portion of that, and then BTD approved the actual signal phasing and timing plan and so on.
If you could just show the pavement markings
Sure.
also.
Yep.
And you are going to build the traffic signal in 2 years, or you're going to wait?
No, it'll all open as part of the project.
Part of the project.
So, sorry, all vehicles exiting the Conley terminal will use that same road as well?
Trucks.
Trucks, sorry.
All container trucks,
Right.
yes.
And
So-
take a right onto, right only?
Right only, this was actually purposely designed to not
doesn't preclude small vehicles, deliveries from making house, but all trucks will be from.
Gotcha.
Are the signals between here and I think First Street, maybe the next one, are they talking to each other?
We are providing, there is no hard link
Not off the bridge?
right now across the bridge.
No, towards South Boston.
Yeah, I think we're providing an interconnect, or looking into an interconnect conduit.
Need to?
Yeah, to make sure we have it. And we're providing video detection here as well. I can move on to East First Street if no one has questions. East First Street, the plan is to redesign the street as more of a local character street, which will be the case once all the truck traffic is removed and bring back its neighborhood character. So it's going to be a lower speed street, trying to make it more pedestrian friendly. We're doing a couple of things. One is that the community requested that Massport provide angled parking along the north side of East First Street within the Massport buffer zone as part of this project. So working with BTD and others, we worked out an angled parking scheme on the north side. We'll go from about 50 spaces out there today to about a little shy of 100 in the future. The plan is to, so the buffer design has its own internal pathway system that it'll be gated and fenced and closed at night and totally owned and maintained by Massport. But the design includes a new public sidewalk on the north side of East First Street, 8 feet wide minimum. As you can see here, the idea is to have the back of that new sidewalk on the north side be the edge of the new public right-of-way, which is why we're doing a widening relocation. Thank you. Massport would maintain the sidewalk and any ancillary street trees that they're building on the north side through a maintenance agreement, but it would be part of the new East First Street layout.
Jerry, just remind me the actual angled parking spots, are they within the right-of-way or where's that?
Yeah, they'll be fully, once the vote is taken and the street is widened, so you can see, here's the new angled parking base, here's the new back of the sidewalk, the angled parking and the sidewalk will be in the East First Street right-of-way, and that land ultimately will also be conveyed in fee to the city of Boston, because East First Street is a fee street at present. I flip this over. There are some issues being worked out right now with regards to that transfer. The buffer parcel was designated as Article 97 open space. We've been working with the attorneys at Massport and the city to make sure that the conveyance can happen. We probably won't be back in 2 weeks, but that's, want to make sure everything's clear. The parking will be ancillary to the buffer. The expectation that we talked with BTD about is that during the day when the buffer is open, the parking will be open to all comers on a visitor basis. It'll be 2 hours, however BTD wants to do it, but not just residents. And then in the evening, when the buffer is closed, it would just become part of the South Boston residential parking program. We work with the city on the street dimension. We understand there's a potential city future project to widen the south sidewalk of East First Street, which is now pretty inaccessible and only 5 feet wide, to possibly widen it to 10. So essentially, we proactively widen the whole street 5 feet in addition to the angled parking, so that to facilitate any future widening by the city. We're providing 3 new crosswalks at the main entries to the buffer, Oak Street, Peach Street, and at Christopher Lee Park. Reducing the number of MBTA driveways from 3 to 2. Right now they have sort of an employee driveway and then their buses in and out. We're consolidating that to, we've worked with them to just 1 in, 1 out for all comers. A lot of their routine fueling and maintenance traffic will now come via the freight corridor to the rear. Also, the Boston Lobstermen's Association goes through the MBTA site now. They are a tenant of Massport now. They will also come through the freight corridor.
Still maintain East First Street as their bus route?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got permission on the westbound side to reduce the number of stops to 1. We're providing an extended stop right before they're busable, and that'll accommodate a couple of buses worth of layover. Sometimes they stack up a little bit, and they want this to get that long. There's a few utility poles on East First Street now on the sidewalk. Those will be relocated to Massport property for the most part.
So there's going to be maintenance agreements that Massport's going to be responsible for sidewalks and for supporting structures of the sidewalks. Because on Sumner Street, you have large retaining walls that are supporting the sidewalks.
On Summer Street, the plan is to still have it go entirely back to the city once we're done. We're moving that retaining wall out a few feet, replacing it in kind, but the idea is that just the maintenance of that will revert back to the city and still hold the sidewalk. We're not really changing the sidewalk that much.
So the retaining wall that's existing right now is city-owned?
Yes.
That is beyond the bridge structure?
Yeah, when you come off the abutment of the bridge, there is an approach wall that was built as part of the bridge project.
That's the big walls then?
Yeah, it has a little guardrail on it. That's owned by the city at present. So we're moving that back a few feet in kind.
This has gone through extensive review, and we appreciate your due diligence, and, especially for the signalized intersection, and muchly appreciate it.
We love to have the proponent, maintain any structure that's being built. It is quite a large retaining wall.
There are multiple thought patterns. You are the one who is touching it, you are the one who is building it, you will be the one who does the quality control. And since you will be so happy with the way it has been built, would appreciate consideration for you to be able to look after that structure, if that is possible.
So you talk the retaining wall?
Yes.
And,
Yeah, the approach wall.
yeah.
The stuff which you are rebuilding.
Okay,
Just
understood.
Jerry, did I hear you say you're probably not a couple weeks out, you might be a month out?
We would like to at least start with 4 weeks out.
Okay. All right, why don't we do that then? Chong, do you have anything to say? Sorry.
Yes, Chong Liu from the Law Department. I'm the counsel for this board, and I had a conversation with Jerry and the Massport attorney regarding the Article 97 potential transfer from to Massport to the city. There are some issues we need to work out. At this point, we don't have an understanding yet, so that's a issue we have to address. I rarely ask the commission to take the action based on the law department's activity, but I would just say, we need to have some understanding about the transfers. It's potentially a legislative to transfer about some Article 97 parcel from the Massport to the city. So I don't know if the 2 weeks time will be too sufficient. Hopefully we can have some understanding before we take a vote for us to accept to the street.
Okay, so August 20th, we'll set it up for a public hearing and, yeah, thank you very much. Third item of new business, Tremont Street, Boston proper, amended grant of location on a petition by Teleport Communications America LLC. Morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is David Edgar. I'm with Sienna Engineering Group. We are consultants for Teleport Communications America, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of AT&T. Teleport has petitioned the city for an amended grant of location to place approximately 1,600 feet of cable and conduit leased from Verizon along Tremont Street. Teleport recently completed construction of 3 areas which were approved by the PIC back in March. And now we are here to get permission to install the cable throughout the system, and this will provide service to the buildings at 271 as well as 474 Tremont Street.
So the original dig was it for fiber optics, or was it for?
Yes, sir, it was for fiber optics. We had to install conduit in locations where no conduit was available to lease.
Okay, so this is just to pull more fiber in the.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
This seems pretty cut and dry. 2 weeks be enough time, David?
Yes.
Okay. We'll see you for a public hearing on August 6th.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Fourth item of new business, Washington Street, Roxbury Street, Dudley Street, Roxbury, grant of location.
Can I just make one statement? When you come back for the public hearing, just tell us how much fiber optic you're gonna be pulling. If you're gonna be putting in, what you're actually gonna be pulling through the conduit.
Okay, our A to B, the distance. Sure.
No, A to B and what.
Conduit usage.
And what you're gonna be using. So if you're just gonna be using one 4-inch duct, don't tell us that. Two 4-inch ducts, whatever you're gonna be using.
Okay.
Thank you. Fourth item of new business, Washington Street, Roxbury Street, Dudley Street, Roxbury, grant a location on a petition by Comcast of Boston Incorporated. Morning.
Good morning. My name is Bob Glenn from Comcast of Boston, Inc. Comcast comes before you this morning seeking permission for a grant of location for a 915-foot section of Roxbury Street, Washington Street, and Dudley Street in Roxbury. The reason for this request is to provide telecommunications services to the area residences and businesses. We sent out the joint construction invitations and have no interested parties in joining us in this build. Our intentions would be to build one 4-inch conduit and a city shadow along the basic path that's shown on that plan.
My geography is the best. How close is the new Ferdinand building to where you are?
It would be almost diagonally opposite where Roxbury Street ends at Washington Street.
Okay. So, maybe what I don't recall is whether these streets have been paved to facilitate the opening of the. I don't know the condition of this street.
It's not paved.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're not
When
finished.
it-
We're not
Oh, we are
finished.
not done.
We're not finished there.
Okay.
I guess, according to Kobucks, Dudley Street and Roxbury Street are candidates to be, future candidates to be paved.
Yeah.
So if you are successful in getting the commission's vote, if get to it as quickly as possible.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you want to just continue? It was,
Sorry.
That was basically
Okay,
all I had to.
all right.
What's the intent of this build-up? What are you trying to pick up?
We have, on Roxbury Street, there's 3 separate residences. One was just rehabbed recently, and along this path here, we also have, on Washington Street, we have a vicinity of 20-something businesses, and 60% of them have expressed interest in our services.
Bobby, I wasn't focusing on what you may have been saying. You went through the lead company process?
Yes, I did.
And any participants?
I had no interested parties in participating.
Selectively, I ask this once in a while, but keep a record of this because understanding all that is, all the forthcoming activities that can be over here, I'm so surprised that no one wants to participate in this dig with the investments the city is making in this area. Okay. Bobby, how many are you putting in the spares? I suppose just one, right?
I'm just putting in the one city shadow conduit.
All right.
good. I see that possible abandoned railroad track line there. That's always a.
That's kind of interesting construction.
Exactly. 2 weeks enough time, Bob?
That'd be great.
Okay, we'll see you on August 6th for a public hearing.
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
for coming in. Appreciate it. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
concerned.